Test, test. Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, so did you see that Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, Meta, Instagram, that they are rolling back the fact checking? Did you guys see this? Fact checking and no more. I'm reading an article from Wired.com. I'll put it in the box. You can take a look and you can see for yourself. Mark Zuckerberg has fully adopted the language of his former right-wing critics about what constitutes
censorship.
So this is a conversation about censorship. What is censorship? Is it a good thing? Do we need it? But who's in charge of what I see and don't see? Who's in charge of the stories that get told and those that don't get told? There's a book coming. I've got a book. This article here goes into it, and I'm sure you're going to see a number of different ones. You can check a bunch of different places to see what Zuck is now saying about censorship. What I am interested in is this whole idea of censorship. Why am I not given the truth? Why am I not given all of the information with no bias? Can I just have the direct information? I want to tell you something, and like I said, this is going to lead to another book. The first book is the Bible. For those of you that are not interested in what might the Bible have to say about this, be gone. But here's what it says for those of you that's stuck. This is Daniel chapter 1, verse 17. It says, God gave these 4 young men knowledge and understanding in every kind of literature and wisdom. Daniel also understood visions and dreams of every kind. At the end of the time that the king had said to present them, the chief eunuch presented them to Nebuchadnezzar. The king interviewed them, and among all of them, no one was found equal to Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. So they began to attend the king in every matter of wisdom and understanding that the king consulted them about. He found them 10 times better than all the magicians, mediums in his kingdom. Daniel remained there until the first year of King Cyrus. Daniel's better. His homies, better. All of them, better. Why are they better? Because they understand what's going on. Okay. In chapter 1, King Nebuchadnezzar gives to Daniel and his friends, after he abducted them from their own home, King Nebuchadnezzar gives his people the task to re-educate Daniel and his friends. This is what it says. Chapter 1, verse 3. The king ordered Ashpenaz, his chief eunuch, to bring some of the Israelites from the royal family and from the nobility, young men without any physical defect, good-looking, suitable for instruction in all wisdom, knowledge, perceptive, and capable of serving in the king's palace. He was to teach them the Chaldean language and literature. He was to teach them the Chaldean language and literature. So we're going to change their mind. We're going to censor what they know, what they learn, what they have access to. And we're going to give them only what we want them to have access to. Are you following? Appreciate it, Zuck. Appreciate you coming along. This is not a political video. The video is about
Censorship.
It brings to mind another book. This is 1984 by George Orwell. Crazy that I'm even bringing up this book and relating it to a time that we live in, and yet the time, there's nothing new under the sun. This is George Orwell. This is page 5. This is what it says. Stick with me. The Ministry of Truth, Mini-True, in Newspeak, was startlingly different from any other object in sight. It was an enormous pyramidal structure of glittering white concrete, soaring up terrace after terrace, 300 meters into the air. From where Winston stood, possible to read, picked out on its white face in elegant lettering, the 3 slogans of the party. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. The Ministry of Truth contained, it was said, 3,000 rooms above ground level and corresponding ramifications below. Scattered about London, there were just 3 other buildings of similar appearance and size. So completely did they dwarf the surrounding architecture that the roof of Victory Mansions, you could see all 4 of them simultaneously. They were the homes of the 4 ministries between which the entire apparatus of government was divided. The Ministry of Truth, which concerned itself with news, entertainment, education, and the fine arts. The Ministry of Peace, which concerned itself war. The Ministry of Love, which maintained law and order, and the Ministry of Plenty, which was responsible for economic affairs. Their names in newspeak, mini true, mini pox, mini love, spelled L-U-V, and mini plenty. That's Orwell's 1984. Zuck is talking about censorship. Who is the arbiter of what goes out and what doesn't? This is a dangerous game. Nebuchadnezzar played that game. Daniel and his buddies were a part of that game. Orwell knew about that game. Right now, I just want to type in totalitarianism. Totalitarianism. And I should pick a source that's not Wikipedia, right? Exactly. Okay, Britannica. Let's see what we got here. Totalitarians. What do they concern themselves with? Totalitarianism. A form of government that theoretically permits no individual freedom and that seeks to separate all aspects of individual life to the authority, of the state. I'll put this in the box below, but you should check it out, how it manifests, what it is, what it does. It's on Britannica, totalitarianism, and autocracy. Totalitarianism is distinguished from previous forms of autocracy in that its use of state power to impose an official ideology on its citizens. Nonconformity of opinion is treated as the equivalent of resistance or opposition to the government. And the state police, or
secret police,
along with other institutions of compulsion, are used to enforce the orthodoxy of the proclaimed doctrines of the state. George Orwell wrote 1984. In Orwell's 1984, the Ministry of Truth, or Mini True, concerned itself with certain things. The Ministry of Truth concerned itself with news, entertainment, education, and the fine arts. King Nebuchadnezzar in Daniel concerned himself, similar to the Ministry of Truth, with literature and education, and also food. We'll go into that at a different time. Yesterday, Zuck, such a wonderful unelected leader, has said that Facebook and Meta will now roll back their censorship. It's an interesting time that we live in, and the truth will be harder to find. Take your time in finding the truth. Take your time in looking at sources. And don't forget, and try not to forget, that the past 5 years have been censored. What you've been given has not been the whole truth. What you've been made to espouse as the truth is not the truth. And it's something that you should look at so that you are not fooled. Summer reading list, Orwell, 1984.